What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. It's Tuesday. I had to look at my watch then. It's Tuesday. It's 9 AM here in Wales, and I've got a couple of hours before I start my daily tasks. And I thought, well, let's have a look what's going on in the world. And I spotted a few articles that have popped up that caught my attention this morning. There's a lot going on in the space at the minute, and I envisage there would be a lot going on in the space between now and Christmas. There's going to be a condensing. I've said this before. I envisage it as almost like concertina effect, as they kind of just change the space around a bit through regulations, through through a bit of a changing order in the crypto space, and try and pull it into line, ready for its kind of go live phase. And when I say go live, digital assets, true utility, the first ones that we've really seen in our kind of peripheral view are ones to do with cross-border payments, which is where Ripple fits in. And today I spotted some articles. Now, Swift is in a conference called SIBOS, which is an annual event, and there's a few videos popping out. I want to play one for you by this lady here. I think it's... So, how can you make the most of ISO 20022 standards? And we've talked about this before. ISO standards are very, very important. They are the changing of standards for payments, which were formerly MT and MX standards that were based on Swift. And there's been a global update of those standards, and Swift has had to adapt those standards. So it's forced Swift's hand in order for it to have to, how can we put this, upgrade its efforts. That's probably a fair way to put this. And this is the kind of canary in the coal mine. If you're not looking at the picture properly, you won't see this, but we were told back in the day, that Ripple would take over Swift. And, it's kind of, I guess, a metaphor in the respect that when we're talking about Swift, what Swift is, it's the atrium. The atrium is the heart, okay? And Swift was the atrium of the financial world center because all the money went through it, okay? Just like the hub. Now, to change this world of payments, you had to change something in particular, and that was the blood going around the heart. Okay, and what was the blood? It was the petrodollar for trade. Now, what has happened with BRICS recently? We've seen the rejection of the petrodollar of trade, which is the changing of the blood in the system. Okay, and so it's left it open. That there's a vacuum at the minute building. Of course, the payments are still zipping and zapping throughout the planet, but we know there's a migration, a parallel change running. And what is that parallel change? What is this new blood that's going to run around the system? Okay, it's going to be a bunch of digital assets doing different tasks. It's not going to be one. Let's keep things really balanced and kind of intellectual here. There is going to be a host of different assets that do different jobs. But Ripple's kind of position in this whole thing is to create a second, almost Swift, isn't it? Its job is building a financial hub and a parallel system to Swift that is completely digital assets, and also it does run fiat payment systems as well, I believe, in some of its ODL flows. But in that Ripple flow basis, its blood is digital assets. It makes up the predominant amount of its kind of through flow is XRP and it will be other digital assets. Make no mistake, the XRPL, we can tokenize anything, and then also when we zoom out to Interledger, we can go another step further, and everything can funnel down it. But first of all, they're introducing these digital assets. Now, let's just read this for a minute. What's the role of these standards in shaping the future of digital assets? Now, this is Swift, okay? Find out the standards forum this week at SIBOS. Swift's Ansu Suprenant, head of registration authority for standards, explains in store. Now let's have a listen.
So this week, the standards program, we have an exciting program for you over the next 4 days. March 2023, was the beginning of the migration for cross-border payments to ISO 20022, and we've seen great progress, great adoption in domestic markets as well as across the SWIFT network. We encourage you to come to the Standards Forum to learn more about how to accelerate your adoption, how to move to ISO 20022, and to reap a lot of the benefits that we will also identify through these sessions over the next 4 days. For securities fans, we have a really interesting program as well. We feature how innovation is going to change the securities market with digital assets, tokenization, how reference data standards such as a unique transaction identifier will enable shorter settlement cycles as we move to T+1, as well as a discussion and debate on should the securities markets move to ISO 20022 or not. So I encourage you to come, discuss, debate with us, and we'll see you at the Standards Forum.
Now, there's a number of gems in there. And the gems are not saying I'm not going to get all boom, 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 where XRP is involved in this. But listen, let's first of all witness the beauty in this, is that SWIFT has to now adopt digital assets. Its hand has been forced. We knew this back in the day because, look, BG123 in his presentation scene showed you the kind of small picture of SWIFT. We'll bring it up in a better shot. Okay, if you look on the whiteboard, we've got the word SWIFT, SWFT, and we've got 589, which is a reset of it. Okay, so you understand there was a reset going on SWIFT, and also the 589 equals 22, which is the reference to the ISO 2022 standards. You can't reset SWIFT unless you forced its hand to change standards. Do you get where this is going? Okay, so SWIFT have now been forced into a position and have had to upgrade their financial standards. She also mentions in the picture, in the video, that they are looking at changing the securities to ISO 20022 standards, which is rather amazing because they are looking obviously at tokenizing all these assets, securities, bonds, everything, real estate. And remember, there's going to be a bunch of chains that are involved in this. This isn't going to be one. They wouldn't risk it on one. It's too much stress. And they're also running parallel systems as we go. Now, that gives you an indication as to what this heart of the financial world is up to. They are adopting digital assets, and that is so big. You know, they're in the wild. They've done the changeover, which was in 2023, March this year, and we can have a look firstly at the ISO standards charts. We've talked about this before. BG123 has mentioned it multiple times. I mean, this is probably the most obvious one of them all, but we can look at the different sectors of the world, and these are the different logos. And we've got it's like a Gantt chart, for want of a better word. And we've got the timeline on the x-axis above, and we've got the different kind of phases each country is going through. And we've seen in 2022, there is some that have gone live. Now, I think there was delays with this because of the coronavirus pandemic and other things that have been going on the planet. And I know SWIFT hasn't gone live in 2021. It was delayed and it went live in 2023. But this is probably a more globally geographic one, because each of these sectors in the world, we've got Europe with the T2 services, Europe, Britain with CHAPS, and CHAPS is kind of I guess it would be like their own payment systems. So the US has got chats, and I believe there's chips. I'm not sure which flag that is. I need to swat up on that. Is it Hong Kong? No, it's not. Anyway, we've got links, which is Canadian. Anyway, you get the idea. Same on the x-axis time, and we've got kind of, March 23. A lot of them are already running live. Now, remember, things changed. There was delays to these things. But if we can imagine that most of them are now going live, there was a really good updated chart on all this. Is that the one? This is the better one. Here we go. So, coexistent phase ends to 2025. So, like, for 2022, you've kind of got the reset year, which is also ISO 20022. You get the kind of Asia Pacific region, APAC, US, EMA, global, and you've got these kind of fully fledged ISOs, coexistent phase, like for like, fully fledged. So we've got from March 2023, we've got a lot of them, and certainly by 2024, all of these countries are now running ISO 202, and I dare say they have got parallel fallback standards as well. Now, why Ripple's? What's the interest in ISO 202? It's only a bloody messaging standard. Not so quick. Bob Way, this guy is the don of dons in the XRPL space. I'm not sure I can add a lot of insight. This is a tweet. We'll go and maybe pull it up on Twitter, or maybe not. Before that pops up, I'm not sure I can add a lot of insight. I'm sure things have changed a lot. But just for clarity, ISO 20022 is way bigger than you might think at first. It replaces the previous Swift standards MT and MX and adds for a lot of other things. Now, it goes on. This is a tweet from Anders, who is kind of correlating all of his tweets, archiving them for us. The reason the transition of 20022 transition is extremely helpful for Ripple's bank sales team is it means that every bank is required to implement the new technology. Not just bank, it's Swift as well. Banks hate change already. Work in process change can introduce new problems, which means bankers get fired. There's a lot of other things as well in this to note. The number one reason why bank integrations don't happen is new system development, expensive and risky. Mistakes can generate bank losses, fines, bankers get fired. The person you're negotiating with must have product budget, development budget, and risk appetite. With a mandatory change happening, the person you're negotiating with needs to have product budget, and that's it. Money for developing has already been allocated elsewhere. Nobody gets fired for following a mandate because it's mandated. It's possible. So how did they force the hand? They forced the hand through a change through the standards, 589, 2022 standards, upgrade, reset on the financial standards. Now, to change the financial standards, you then can implement different assets. And the ISO 20022 standards allows for a richer data payment system, which is like, I guess, I need to look up and learn more about this, but from a very surface level and the minimal knowledge I've got on this, and I know some people who are involved in payments, so I should actually interview them on this, is that you've got a massive amount of metadata on the payments. Now, someone else might be able to increase the knowledge pool on that in the comments maybe, but essentially you've got a lot of digital assets that have that ability to carry that metadata, and the tokens that are ISO's 20022 compliant and have that ability to carry that heavy, rich data are things like XRP, XLM, I believe XDC, I believe IOTA, I believe Algorand, and a few others, maybe Cardano and whatnot. But they've also got the kind of similar kind of square peg, square hole standards, so they fit together. Anyway, let's move on. We saw back in the day, and this is from the reverse BG123 account that follows me, we've got this this thing that he posted in February the 1st, 2019, which is interesting, right? Because the ISO 20022 standards went live in March of 2023, and we're assuming 2019 is 23. Okay, so it says here, and it's got a very funny picture, and it's got a couple of little ciphers written there with QR codes. We've got Swift, and this is a meme. Work with Ripple and use XRP, work with R3 and use XRP. So it means that Swift has to go to another organization also to plug in, potentially to use their digital assets. And that was from BG back at 123. Now, cross-border payments, we talked about the atrium of the heart, of the world financial centers. Now, before you change the architecture of this enormous world, the most important part is the kind of the money transmission part, the hub that the money goes through, and then the blood we talked about, so the heart and the blood of the systems. Now, the blood of the system's changing to digital assets, we know that, and there are going to be multiple hearts, it seems. Swift might be one as a legacy one, Ripple might be another, and there's going to be other layer 1 blockchains that do this equally well, and Swift is going to have to compete heavily in order for it to keep its market share. And the most important part, as you said, is the cross-border payments in this. You can't change a CBDC or build a CBDC world without the cross-border payment systems changing. You have to see this in a series of stages. Okay, and this is how they're rolling it out. First of all, you change the cross-border engine. Okay, or the heart, as we've said, is the atrium. Once you've changed that, you can then put the new blood in. And once you've got the new blood in, then you can change the body parts around it. And what I'm referring to is the CBDCs come down the line. They don't come until the blood has changed. We've got the digital assets running around this new system, and they've changed out the heart. Right? This is how they're going to do it. And why cross-border payments matter. This is the Bank of England. Over the past few decades, the increased internal mobility of goods and service, capital and people has continued to grow in economic importance of cross-border payments. The value of cross-border payments is estimated to increase from 150 trillion in 2017 to 250 trillion by 2027, equating a rise in 100 trillion in just 10 years. Now let that bake in. That's unbelievable. So this maybe takes into consideration the change in commerce online, the change in the metaverse, the change in Web3, IoT, instant payments, and T0 payments will change so many things, because instantaneous payments speeds up liquidity around the planet, which means transactions occur quicker, which means business occurs quicker, and it means cross-border payments increases. Do you understand? So this whole engine may change by magnitudes as this thing starts to gather momentum. Very, very interesting. Another thing I spotted today was an article by CoinDesk, which referred to this changing and the move of Bitcoin. Now, we talked about in my last video, and I'll touch on this really, really briefly. It's saying basically Bitcoin may go higher and the alts may have some issues. And, we've got here Marcus Thienlen, research head of crypto services, explained in an interview Monday CoinDesk that more potential buying pressure for the ETFs listings with Bitcoin potentially pushing it up, while alternative cryptocurrencies, also known as altcoins, may be on the brink of breaking lower. He noted bankrupt exchange FTX token sales, declining Ethereum protocol revenues, and upcoming token unlocks, which allow venture capital investors to sell tokens among risks of the altcoin market. Now, where do we potentially see this again? Yeah, I'm not saying this is going to occur, and this is not financial advice, but it's something to keep your eyes on. We talked about Bitcoin breaking higher and Bitcoin going on a run potentially, and I think that is it. The only thing I also wanted to point out was that, do I need to do this? No, I can probably do this in another video actually. No, we'll cover that in a separate video. Just a quick cap up on also the markets. Bitcoin's made some moves. It's at, oh gosh, I should change this to dollars, shouldn't I, for you all? I keep running it in pounds, in my local currency. We should have Welsh currency really, shouldn't we? Right, we got Bitcoin 26,902, which has made some moves. Ethereum 1638 and XRP is running at 50 cents still grinding its way higher. Bought a little XRP over the past couple of days. Not at the bottom, but doesn't matter, DCAing all the time. Right, that's it. That's what I wanted to cover today. Swift and their interesting kind of little snippets of information they're dropping after the SIBOS conference that they're in. Keep an eye on them. Very, very interesting times with Swift, particularly to do with this ISO calendar and the migration of cross-border payments. Ripple is in the thick of this. This is all to do with BG's, timeline and BG's chronology. Sorry. There was another small post here which I wanted to just mention really quickly. Was it this one? Maybe not, it's not this one, so maybe it's another one. So there was another article on Swift briefly that I wanted to see, which talked about like the future of money. Anyway, I'll find it again. It's no dramas. They were saying that the full integration. Hold on, I posted it on my Twitter profile. I reposted it this morning first thing. Right, here we go. Don't miss the road to 2025. The future of ISO 202. Now we talked about ISO 202 2025. Right. It's fully integrated by 2025. Who told you that what was it? BG123, where are we in it? Come on, let's find this. It is here. Is it here? Right, BG123. He said to you, a journey ahead until treasure's in sight. Okay, I've told you that the main 3-4 pictures run to 2025-26. This is December 2024, in my humble opinion. This is December 2025, and this is December 2026. Okay, and Swift are telling you the road to 2025. Where are we? Sorry, I'm going to find this eventually. The road to 2025, the future of ISO and the cross-border payments. Right, and I've put the road to 25, a journey ahead till treasure in sight. It's a long game. Have a long game mentality with all this, guys. This is the the journey till 2026 we've got until the next top of the Bitcoin cycle market. That's going to be the one to watch. Anyhow, this is my Twitter. Come and say hi. Please like the video. Please drop a comment. Please subscribe. Please share the video as well. This is an amazing thing that community members start doing now. If this video gives you value, if it just transcends new information for you, opens up and connects, share it with others. Let them get the same benefit. Anyhow, hope you're all having a good day. Thank you for watching the video. Appreciate your time. Have a great day. Be blessed. See you in the next one.